Hey, what's going on everyone, and I am back again today for a somewhat different video. This is actually a follow-up on one of my older Overlord explained videos, which is the analyzation of all the players in the history of the New World video I posted several years ago. I did a follow-up video addressing a lot of the questions and concerns from that video because that video had so many comments and questions. So I had to do an entire video just talking about questions for that. But in that conversation, one of the questions that came up so much in that video was, what are the levels for some of the other players that came to the New World? And unfortunately, up to this point, we had no real way to determine what their exact levels were. We was really more guesswork. However, according to information that was released in Overlord Volume 16 of the light novel, we can now determine the exact level of one of the previous players in the New World, and it's one of the previous players we know the most about. It is Sir Shana, the god of death of the slain theocracy and one of the members of the 6 great gods. If you haven't seen my video on the history of players in the New World, the 6 great gods were the first recorded group of players to arrive, and they were the group of players that founded the slain theocracy and became deified by them. And Sir Shana is one of the ones that we actually know the name of, and he was an undead and was regarded as the god of death. So before I get into this, I will say this video does contain some spoilers for Volume 16 of the Overlord light novel, and unfortunately I can't give you this information and, present this topic without giving some spoilers for that novel. So if you don't want any of those spoilers, this is your chance to leave. I'll give you a few seconds to do so.
Fuck off out of there! Get out! Get out!
Okay, so if you're sticking around, you don't care about spoilers, so let's get into that. So I won't go super in-depth into the events of Volume 16, but there is a confrontation in this volume between Zesshi, who is the extra seat of the Black Scripture of the Slain Theocracy, and Mare. So Zesshi, or Anteline if you want to call her that, has a talent called psychometry. And the description of this talent from the light novel is being able to use the skills of others via touching items that belong to them, even bypassing job class restrictions. And this talent is noted as being one of the top 10 strongest talents in the entirety of the New World. So basically this talent lets you use skills just through interacting with items that belong to other people. You can use the skills that belong to those people. So this is important because Zesshi is in possession of Sir Shana's scythe, which is called Charon's Guidance, or Charon, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. So yeah, Zesshi is in possession of this scythe that once belonged to Sir Shana. And through owning this item and also using her talent, psychometry, Zesshi is able to use the skill as shown in Volume 16, the goal of all life is death. Now people who are fans of Overlord might remember that skill. It was a skill that Ainz used on Shaltir when he was fighting her in Season 1. So the description of the skill from the light novels is as follows. It strengthens the instant death effect of magic and skills to the point of bypassing any immunity or resistance and killing their targets after a certain amount of time has passed. The cooldown of this special skill is 100 hours. It is not possible to resist death spells enhanced by this special skill unless one uses a resurrection effect on themselves within 12 seconds. So basically what the skill, the goal of all life is death, does is it allows any spell or attack that it's paired with to completely bypass any instant death immunity or resistance and work with 100% success. And the only cost of this is it delays the casting time by 12 seconds, and that's what you see in that clock countdown that happened with Ainz. So what happened in the fight with Shaltir was Ainz activated the goal of all life is death, then used the spell Cry of the Banshee, which has a wide area effect, and he actually used widen magic to strengthen that area of effect. And then the goal of all life is death activated, counted down the time, and then it turned Cry of the Banshee into basically a spell that would kill anything in the spell's radius, which was very, very wide. So yeah, it is a completely broken and OP skill that Zesshi is somehow able to use by interacting with Sir Shana's scythe and using her talent. But the point I'm trying to get to is that Zesshi was able to use this skill by interacting with the scythe, which means that Sir Shana was able to use this skill as well. This reveals a lot of information about Sir Shana, because in order to use the goal of all life is death, the player has to have 5 levels into the Eclipse class. We don't have a ton of detailed information on the Eclipse class from Overlord, but from what we do know is that it was a very rare class, even in Yggdrasil, and to enter the class you actually had to have a kind of unorthodox orthodox build, because Ainz' build was not focused on pure power or, pure offense, and he didn't have a min-maxed build. He had a role-playing build, and he also had a particular focus into necromancy job classes, which allowed for him to go into the Eclipse class. Another requirement is that they had to have 5 racial levels into the Overlord race class as well. So Ainz actually stumbled upon this class by chance, and so basically not having a PvP optimized build is what allowed Ainz to possess such an OP skill. Another requirement of the Eclipse class is that the player character has to have an overall character level of 95. So basically you have to be a level 95 Overlord with a specialization in necromancy job classes in order to enter into the Eclipse class. And then you have to pump 5 levels into the Eclipse class in order to obtain the skill The Goal of All Life is Death. So because Zesshi was able to access The Goal of All Life is Death from Sir Shana's scythe, this shows us that Sir Shana had to have been a level 100 Overlord like Ainz, because you have to be a level 95 Overlord, and then you also have to pump 5 levels into the Eclipse class in order to obtain that skill, which gets you to level 100. So as it turns out, Ainz and Sir Shana were very, very similar to each other. They had very similar builds, and they were both Overlords, and they both got into the Eclipse class. So Sir Shana did not have a min-max build either, and probably had a build that was very, very similar to Ainz's. But basically, I just wanted to make this video because this has answered a question that has come up so much to me as an Overlord content creator, and it is finally, we're getting a solid answer as to what level Sir Shana was. I had always theorized that the 6th grade gods were either close to or at level 100, and this at least proves to us that one of them was level 100. So if his posse wasn't or not, we don't know. But Sir Shana, we now know beyond a shadow of a doubt, he was level 100 and is actually very similar to Ainz. So we can probably envision Sir Shana as just an earlier Ainz at this point. But I just wanted to share this information with you guys. I thought it was really, really neat, and it's definitely something that's come up a lot on my channel. So that's something we can finally stick a pin in as for solid, undisputable information on an earlier player in the New World. So guys, thanks for tuning in. I just wanted to get this info out. What did you think of it? Was it interesting to you? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I love to discuss the theories about the new players with you guys. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, please hit that like button on your way out to let me know. And if you aren't already, please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out more than you know, and it'll let you know when I post in the future. With that being said, I want to thank you all for watching to the very end of the video, and I will see you all next time. Bye.